Very nice day out today. No storms on the horizon anywhere, so we'll do some scrapping outside. And what we'll do today is we'll scrap this television. We picked it up about a week ago. I say I picked it up about a week ago, so it should be ready to scrap. And the reason I say that is televisions, along with some other appliances, will hold an electrical charge for a while. So if you pick up a television, don't scrap it out the same day you pick it up. Or if you're determined you're going to do that, you need to do some way to displace the charge that's in it. Is it enough to kill you? It may be. It depends on your health. But either way, you want to avoid that. So how we're going to get started with this is this particular television, if I can get it here where you can see, has these holes around it, and they have a 1/4 inch head screw in it. Now the television you're going to scrap may have an Allen, it may have a Star, it may have a Phillips head, and it possibility could have a straight head. You don't see many straight head. But go around to the back and take all of those screws out. We've loosened up ours, and we're ready to take this top off. So take this top right off, and I always leave my screws and everything in my top and set it over here, because I scrap my television just a little bit different than some guys you see on YouTube do. Now the important parts of the television that you're going to want to harvest is the board, the yoke, and the degaussing cable, plus the other miscellaneous wires that are inside that. So before we go any further, it's time to get safe. I'm going to put on my eye protection. I'm also going to put on a mask, and I'm going to put on my gloves. So let me get started with that, and we'll be right back. Okay, got my safety apparel on, and what you're going to do is take your wire snippers, and around this box that's coming out, I've already taken all these off, but you're going to have various wires coming out of it to run into various parts on your television. So just clip all your wires, and that's basically the amount of wire you're going to have out of that, plus of course your plug, that plugs your television into the wall. And the next thing you want to do is, in these corners, you're going to have some clips. And these corners, there's another clip over there. Just go around to that and break those corners loose, and that's going to free up your degaussing cable. And that's going to be a nice piece of copper there. Some televisions, yes, will have coated aluminum on it, but this one's going to be copper. You can tell. Just take your wire cutters there. If you're stronger than I am, you can clip that through there. And you can see there, I hope you can see, get the sun over there, that nice copper color inside that wire. It's so sunny outside, it's hard for me to tell what I'm looking at and what I'm not on the monitor. Alrighty, and next thing you know, that's going to free up your control here. And just slide that right out. Now if you mail in your e-waste, that board's not going to be too awful valuable, not even worth the mailing in, because it's going to weigh more than shipping mailing, and it's going to be to harvest anything out of it. But you're going to have a EEPROM there. This is going to be aluminum. This is going to be aluminum. And you're going to have some other parts that's going to have some copper bearing in it. This item here is going to be copper bearing, and that down there is going to be copper bearing. So we're going to set that aside. I've successfully make you seasick moving around. I'm sorry, that's the first time I've done it one-handed. Now the next thing we want to harvest is the yoke. And the best way to do this is, I've seen some guys go crazy busting stuff up, busting the glass out of it. I don't do that, and I'll tell you why as the video goes on. What you can do is right here, you see that screw. Make sure your screwdriver's in the right direction. Take this out, that is going to be a steel screw, so we'll go ahead and get it out. And this ring is going to be stainless steel or aluminum, and that'll be that way on most all televisions. So once you have that loose, let's see, get a pair of pliers here and get that off. Just get the pliers down in there and just pull that out of there. And that's going to be aluminum, so we'll set that aside as well. Now with these yokes, like I said, I've seen guys bust into the glass and bust this loose, and I don't do that. Once you get all your wires clipped loose, just start working this top board. Just start gently moving it back and forth, and it's going to pop right off. And that again is another low grade board, so we're going to set that aside. Now the next thing you need to do is line up your plates there, little plastic plates. Every once in a while you'll see a little piece of silicone or something on this glass tube. You'll want to just run a flathead screwdriver underneath that and pull that loose. Now just work this just a little bit, and it'll slide right off there. And that's just a piece of plastic. It's fairly useless. Now just like on this television, you'll see it's got some silicone on the bottom. I don't think that's going to be sticking. If it is, nope, it doesn't seem to be. You can just stick a screwdriver underneath that or something and pry it loose. But once you get that off, just turn around and look how clean that yoke comes off of there. There's no sense in busting everything up and getting glass everywhere. And that's our yoke. So we're going to set it over side here. And this is what's left in the television. Now this is when you need to make a choice about how you're going to be a scrapper. You can see there's a screw here, a bolt here, a bolt over there, and what that does is holds this monitor head in. Now that's a piece of steel around that monitor, and if you bust this open, which I suggest that you don't do, there's another piece of steel inside this. To me, it's just not worth the risk of busting this glass, being exposed to any, of course this is a suction, but being exposed to any chemical or gas that may be in these televisions for less than a pound of steel is not worth it to me. And that's why I always keep my hood or back plate, and I put my hood and back plate back on this, screw it down, and I take it to the to be disposed of properly, because you don't want to be exposed to anything that's in there for, you know, just a couple of cents. It's really just not worth it. I mean, I'm all in favor of scrapping things down to the very minute piece, but when it comes to your health or the environment, it's just not worth it. So we're going to leave that part alone, and we're going to put our top back on it. And this is basically what you have. You have your board there that you're going to harvest some copper bearing and some aluminum out of. Your degaussing cable, which we're going to take the electrical tape off of it and have some nice copper there. We'll have the copper from our yoke, and in most televisions you're going to have a small speaker, and I take those speakers and I do the eBay thing with them because like I said, model railroader guys and that kind of thing get to buy those speakers for their sound equipment. Your power cord is going to have a brass plugs on the end of it, and then just some miscellaneous wire there. So that's safely scrapping a television for what you can get out. Now you see these a lot on the side of the road, and I really think it's worth it for less than 10 minutes scrap to get that amount of copper. So again, thanks for watching, and that's scrapping a television. Happy scrapping.